Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com, and this is going to be your stock watch list for Tuesday, January 30th, and this is from ZozoStockWatch.com. Let me go ahead and go over some calls that we made in the room before I get into the video. Today we called Intel as it was coming down, and we called this on the bounce back up over our moving averages here on this 2-minute chart, over 49.75 for Intel, and we got a nice gain up to over $1 on Intel. Actually held some of this and sold it off here up near the highs for a nice intraday kind of day trade, swing trade on Intel as they were pushing it down. Then it recovered, and we got a beautiful pop in Intel. Another call we made in the service was Micron Technologies, and I put out if it broke through this 4280 spot. All right. Granted, we were a little bit late to this, but I felt, it was kind of building up this momentum, and we got this 4280 pop drop here, and the stock headed on down to 4238 for MU. And then our other call for the day was, and that was Wynn Resorts, with all the sexual misconduct that's going out on the news waves. This one was very weak this morning. We talked about it in our pre-market prep. Each morning we do a pre-market prep for about half an hour, almost 40 minutes, and we looked at Wynn and also called this one over the microphone. If it broke this 170 number, we were going short, and it did that, and it went all the way down to 166.61 from the 170 break on WYNN. So a nice, quick, easy short there, pushing down on WYNN on this 2-minute chart that you're viewing right now. So quite a good day in the room. Dollar on Intel, a nice short on Micron MU, and a beautiful short here on Wynn. So that was our day for the day. Let's go ahead and get into some of the news that came out after hours. Some earnings came out, not really big names that are going to move the market, but some news that came out. First one up is this DFFN Pharmaceuticals. All right, phase 3 DFFN. So that one actually popped up in the after hours here on the name. And then let me fix my chart here. Okay, there we go. So that one popped in the after hours, and that one then proceeded to give back the gain. So DFFN, a little bit of a pop, but a give back. And then UCTT, they came out with their offering, and that stock sold off in the after hours, ultra clean. So that one moving down. Hawaiian Airlines, HA, had earnings. So that stock actually moved up in the after hours. That airline on that holding, they beat by 2 cents and beat on revenue. Let's see what else was standout for earnings. I think that was about it, just the airline. And I noticed that that one happened to go up. Rambus actually was the other one I went to. Rambus came out with earnings. The stock sold off. Earnings per share were in line, and they had a small beat. At first, that wasn't enough for the algos, and the algos drove it down to about 11.75. And then the dip buyers came in, and they moved that one back up a little bit on Rambus. So that one came out with earnings after the bell. And then let's see what else was there. I think that's about it. For some of the news, Ears, a 12.5 million offering, so that stock sold off in the after hours. Revlon's CEO is leaving to pursue other things. Very weak stock, moving down there in the after hours. CBay had an offering, a very strong stock coming out with an offering here. Sold off, but they came in and they bought that dip on CBay, so that one was moving down. And then Teva Pharmaceuticals came out with some news here. Teva stock selling off. Teva files for offering of up to 5 billion of debt securities. All right, so that's news out in the after hours on Teva, and as you can see, it's moved down a little bit. Seems to have bounced back a little bit too on Teva. So that was kind of the news. As the week goes on, we're going to get into more earnings. Let me bring over the calendar for you. Here's the calendar by Trade Exchange, and the big day for earnings is going to be, they're all calling it this because the Super Bowl is this week. Thursday after the bell is the Super Bowl of earnings. So we have Amazon, Apple. We also have Google coming out with earnings on Thursday after the bell. So big day for earnings on Thursday. A lot of big names, and Apple was actually soft all day. Don't forget, FOMC meeting starts tomorrow, and then the announcement. This at first was a lock for no rate increase, but now it seems like there may be a rate increase. So we'll have to see how this all works out. The FOMC meeting announcement is at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's going to be on Wednesday. All right, tomorrow is Tuesday. Nothing major as far as economic news. API crude numbers, oil come out at 4:30 p.m. And then don't forget Friday we have the employment situation. But that's not till Friday at 8:30. And then, like I said, the big earnings here on Thursday. Facebook and let's see, Facebook is on Wednesday after the bell, right? Yeah, eBay, Facebook will be reporting earnings after the bell. So there's some of your other earnings coming out. Mondelez, all right. So this is a real nifty tool for you folks. And then some of your top gainers today, IMMR. Ballard Power was very strong today, BLDP. All right, Ballard Power very strong today. Dr. Pepper, I guess a takeout or something going on there, very strong. PTCT was up today. PTCT, CASI, CISN, and then downside SOHU missed earnings. Win with the sexual misconduct news there was very weak today. Trivago giving it back. ITUS also selling off today. So those were some of your top losers. And then for your unusual options activity, Yelp had unusual options activity, BMY, STLD, HMNY, unusual call activity in HMNY, STML, Time Warner, Lulu, some unusual call activity in that name today. CL and LDOS, also some unusual call activity in those names today. So, markets were a little iffy today. Let me go to the daily chart for the SPY, but, we keep saying this, right? Right here, we came down to the 5 here, and we're right back down to the, near the 5 EMA. We still haven't broken it. Bears could not break that 5 EMA today. It's at 284. So we'll see what the futures are going to look like for tonight. Let's see. It's about 6:39 Eastern time as I'm doing this video. Let's see what the futures are offering so far. And in the after hours, Dow futures up 40 currently, and S&P futures up 4. NASDAQ futures up about 9 currently on the futures in early in the session here for the futures. All right, so we'll see on that. Next up, let's go ahead and we'll get into the watch list. And once again, not much damage to the SPY. Apple, like I said, was very weak today. Here's Apple after breaking that 50 SMA. They had to cut some production on the iPhone 10. All right, so then that news came out this morning and the stock sold off on Apple there, and Amazon staying strong. Amazon, Google, Google, a little bit of a pullback in Google, not much though. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the watch list for tomorrow. It's APHB. We'll be watching this one intraday, 2.4 million shares, Ballard Power. See if there's any kind of continuation move in that one. CASI, CASI, looking for maybe, to get over this. Possible resistance area. Needs more volume though, only 500,000 shares. CC, Specialty Chemicals, maybe shaping up for a swing trade in that one. CNAT, kind of basing under this 575 spot. CVO had a nice pop into the close. We've traded this one before. Nice pop here. 5.8 million shares traded. CZR, one of the casinos holding up here, messing around with that 1420 area. So maybe 1425 on CZR. Doesn't trade intraday very well, as you can see by this chart. It's kind of like a barcode chart. So we'll see. More likely a swing trade. DFFN, I had put this one on watch, but it popped and gave it all back. So we'll see. Electronic Arts, actually, chatter on this name that maybe Microsoft was interested in it. So maybe this one might get going. Or these have run up a lot. Activision, TTWO, they've all run up a lot. But now if you start getting some chatter rumors in there on Electronic Arts in that sector, maybe these will continue pushing up. EXEL, not a bad looking daily chart, 2.9 million shares, basing under, that 32 number. Had a high today, 31.79, then peeled back a little bit. Keep your eye on this one, possible swing trade in that. FTNT, looking like it may want to break out over that 46.10 level, possibly. HMNY, like I said, had the unusual call activity, basing under the 100 SMA, that white line you see up above there, which is at 1025, closed at 937, the high today 993. So a lot of back and forthing in HMNY. We'll see. Not a favorite. INSY. This one is in the MJX ETF marijuana. So MJX came back down to the 20 SMA today, by the way, the ETF. INSY is one of the holdings in there. So I'm watching this one. If you can get over maybe, 10.25 or so on that name. Intel, be watching this one for an intraday trade. Again, we got a beautiful trade in Intel today for over $1. Lulu shaping up here. But it needs to get over, I guess, 81 or back over 80. So we'll see. Had that call activity that I mentioned from the trade exchange. MU, it moved down today, but Bear still can't break this down entirely on Micron, and so we'll have this one on watch. You can play it either way, short or long. MXIM had a big pop today. Takeover chatter on this name. Went from 58 all the way up to 74. Incredible move there. Some of the folks, because we have the trade exchange news that comes right into our room, some of the traders had gotten into this one and got a beautiful trade thanks to the trade exchange timely news there on MXIM. Our room provides you with news into the room, audio news into the room, and visual news into the room. Also, we make calls before they trigger, and also I share my trade ideas, scans to keep your costs down. I show a screen share of that all day long for the room, so that helps new traders keeping their costs down. NBEV, maybe one of these days it'll get over, $4 right now, back and forthing. So we'll see. ONVO, kind of a blast from, I guess, the past. It's been, kind of a basing down here, trying to hold these lows. Not that interesting, but a little volume came into it today on ONVO. SGRP, nice pop. Under a million shares though, so we'll see on this one. SGRP, SRRA holding up well today, 1.1 million. We'll see how this sets up. Possible swing trade in that one. Twin Mario Gabelli came out and talked about this one during the CNBC halftime show, and he really ignited this TWIN. As you can see, only on 300,000 shares, but a big pop. So we'll see on that one. USAU actually held up well today, and kind of just under that 280 number, a little bit light in the volume, but held up above the 200 SMA there, the green line. Watt was getting a little bit of buying today. As you can see from this intraday chart, Watt, W-A-T-T. So I'll have this one on watch. Win, more looking at this one for a possible, bounce play. Maybe he's going to resign. We don't know. If he does, you might get a pop in this Win Resort. So, one of the winners, LVS was popping, MGM popping, but we played Win to the short side and did very well with it. So, but it could bounce if he says he's going to step aside. That's Steve Wynn of Wynn Resorts. So we'll see. And then YTEN got 3.5 million shares, just could not get over that 205 number and hold above it. So we'll be watching this YTEN, specialty chemicals. Here's that 205 area I was talking about. We got above it here in the after hours a little bit, but intraday, was back and forthing under that number there on YTEN. So that one will be on watch. All right, so that's your watch list for tomorrow. And as we head deeper into the week, we have the FOMC meeting. We have big earnings coming out. We have the jobs number coming out Friday. So it should play out for a more interesting week. All right, everybody have a nice evening. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com. And, I forgot to mention, I'll put this in the description box. If you'd like to try my room next week, I'll be opening it up to the public. All right, I don't do this very often because it can cause a little bit of distraction when you allow people in for free. But we did it once before and it went well, so I'll do it one more time. And if that goes well, then maybe in the future I might do it again. But I'm definitely going to do it for the week of February 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9th. Just put your name or whatever name you want, put your email address. You could put a little message in there, hello Zozo, Mike, and then shoot it to us, and we'll save you a spot in the room. All right, and I'll put this down in the description code. All right, but come in with your best behavior. I would really appreciate that. And everybody have a very nice evening. Hit that subscribe button if you're liking these videos, and keep the channel going. Have a great night.